Hey, this is Harold Mannequin from Actual Place, and you're listening to Void Signal.
Hey baby, listen. If you like Void Signal, you can support Void Signal by visiting voidsignal.net and leaving a tip for your friendly, charismatic host. You can also visit Shirt Clown and purchase Void Signal shirts and stuff. The design on there is really cool, along with a whole bunch of other cool designs. And you can buy shirts for Void Signal guests like System Sin, Imperative Reaction, and Barahari. So go check it out. You have nothing to waste but your time, and thanks for your consideration. I appreciate it. I hope you're well, and yeah, I guess that's it. Enjoy the episode. We'll talk again soon, and I love you so much. I don't care what your mom says about you. I think you're doing really great. So,
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi. I can. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's finally sunny in Vancouver for once.
That must be a nice change.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's
You're in
things? You've got a
you're in
new.
Nevada
Yeah,
still? Yeah.
I'm in Reno still. It is raining here. Probably we're coming up on like the last storm of like winter.
Yeah.
It's kind of rolling in right now. But it's been pretty gloomy here for a few weeks now, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, how are things? You've got a new record coming out like next week, right? Like or no, new single next week,
New
and but the record's
single.
almost done. Yeah.
Yeah, we're just finishing up the new record. We're planning to deliver it by the end of January. So yeah, we're getting really close to finishing it, and
Nice.
the new song, yeah, will be out on the 20th, called Highrise. And yeah, we're just super excited to share it, and it's been so cool to have the record come together and to finish up the songs and to kind of see the project just um oh, sorry, the cats are
Oh, it's all
attacking.
good. I totally understand. Uh,
But it's been really nice to have the record, yeah, come together and to see the this part of the project to its completion, you know?
yeah, it does seem like you've really sort of come into your own with it. Um, I mean, it seems like you've made a pretty substantial impact rather quickly. I mean, the obvious, answer to the reason for that being just that, your close proximity to also being an actors and there being a
Yeah,
lot of crossover between those audiences. But
for sure. Yep.
one question that I did want to just ask you, sort of in regards to leathers versus actors for a moment, was just that you started out working on leathers and being like your own sort of thing. Given the amount of, I mean, like I saw you guys on this last tour, you all looked exhausted. So, um, given the amount of like effort that it takes to, because I mean it's not like you're just like a band member in actors. I mean you contribute significantly to it. Do you think there will ever come a time where you kind of have to try and I don't know, reprioritize your time between the two things?
I don't think so. I think what, we'll do moving forward, I think, we were super excited to get back to touring after
Mm,
the pandemic. So we kind of, we loaded up our schedule with dates and things. And it, in hindsight, admittedly, it was like a little bit overwhelming
sure.
coming back to playing shows and traveling for so long. There's in the COVID world, we're in contact with so many different people every night. It's really tough to stay healthy and stay rested. And
Mm,
um, we noticed, touring with both bands, that, both bands, the audience has really grown as well. So
mm,
we were spending a lot of time after the shows, meeting with fans, which we love to do. But we realized that the overall energy that we needed to put out every day was like a lot, and
mm,
the touring was a bit overwhelming and a bit tiring this time. But in future, we're just going to be touring smarter. So
mm.
if we do have a situation where both bands are going to be playing, it's just going to be organized and managed well, so that we're able to do that. And we'll just plan sort of an album cycle where like Leathers will release something, and then we'll work on promoting that, and then actors will go back in the studio, and then actors will release something, and so it'll kind of be like a cycle of
Mm.
continuous stuff, but from both projects.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like a good position to kind of have yourself in, honestly. I mean, it seems like things are going right for you in a lot of ways, which is good. You deserve it. You've put in a lot of work. But
Yeah, it's been really amazing to
mm,
feel the support from everyone, and to have people tell us that the music meant a lot to them during the pandemic and helped them through some tough circumstances and things like that. To hear that when we were out on the road was really special, and it means a lot to us.
yeah, that's awesome. Another question that I had for you, just in regards to your sort of your creative process with leathers, is just that how do I? And I mean no offense by this question, but just sort of
No, no.
rhetorically, like, how do you, when you go to sit down in the studio, how do you make leathers not be actors? I mean, the answer seems like it should be easy, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the songwriting has something in common, which is Jason. So Jason writes most of, obviously he's the lead songwriter for actors. So, and then Leathers, sorry, we co-write. So, a lot of times I'll come to the studio with a demo of like an idea I would like to try. So I guess it's kind of the Leathers ideas come filtered from me first, and then I'll bring an idea to Jay, and then we'll see if it's worth pursuing in the studio. And then the ideas just get put through the for Leathers through that kind of filter of because I'm an artist, I have sort of like a set not criteria, but just like sort of set things that I would like to see the project do, like aesthetically, like um, in terms of the style of music, Actors is definitely more on that post-punk, a little bit more dystopian kind of atmosphere with it, whereas Leathers has more of like, it has some darker elements, but there's more of maybe it's sort of like more of a dark romanticism to it.
yeah.
So there's just certain things that kind of maybe because the Leathers material kind of starts with me sort of filtering it through that it kind of sets it down a different path once I get to the studio with Jason, and then we work on the song together.
Gotcha. Okay. And I mean, it makes sense. Your Leathers is a little more romanticism is the right word. It seems a little more hopeful, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fair. Well, so the record's coming is imminent. In a month. What is it gonna sound like versus sort of what we've seen so far? Like, presumably, more of what we've been given, but
Yeah.
are there surprises on it? How do you feel about it with it being near completion now?
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting to hear the ideas for songs be like crystallized into their final form. And to be working at the studio with Jay, he's so talented, like in all aspects of songwriting and producing and mixing, and just hearing the songs all come into focus has been really, really cool. In terms of like sound wise, I think we're I do have like it's like it is difficult to describe because it's not like specifically synth pop and I guess maybe some of it is dark wave, but there's also guitar on there too, so there's kind of a mesh of instrumentations which kind of makes it difficult to describe. But I think we try to take some of the inspiration from the dark wave bands that we enjoy, but then to also include some like more modern production techniques, and to make the mixes sound big and exciting, and all that too. So yeah, we plan to finish it up at the end of the month, and then I believe the pre-order will be in April for that. So
Okay.
we'll get a vinyl pressing and everything. So it'll be super cool.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah.
You did mention that you're a visual artist, which I did know, but how much do you think that affects your sort of creative process for music, if at all? I mean, like, do you find yourself sort of leaning on habits that you might have used with design?
Yeah, it's actually super important, even for like kind of thinking of ideas for songs. Like, as a designer, before I would start a design project, I would go online and kind of collect pictures and create like a mood board of images that might inspire me on my path down a particular project. And I find that I still do this with my lyrics and songwriting and things like that. Like it really it helps for me to have almost like a screen capture from a scene in a movie in my mind to like write certain songs. And even though I might kind of end up at a different place from that like initial reference, it's always a really good starting point. And it helps me a lot to have like a visual in front of me to kind of spark those ideas.
Oh, for sure. I mean, because it's like you're loading up your like color palette of like
Yeah.
idea wells to tap into. I did a similar thing when I was doing creative writing in school. Like, oh, before I go sit down and write this short story, I'm gonna like listen to this music or watch these movies to sort of get in the right headspace to do it, sort of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that shit helps a lot. It's like immersion.
Yeah.
You're like immersing yourself in it.
Yeah, exactly. I find like, because daily life is a bit distracting with like, we're just being notified at, every 30 seconds of something that's happening, whether it's on our phones or, just the general media in that. So, to kind of like, I don't know, I find it helps to immerse myself in that kind of in a like aesthetic kind of world. I really like going to the bookstore and just kind of like flipping through books and looking at pictures. And I used to read a lot. Like I used to read over 50 books a year. And over the course of, I don't know, the last 5 to 10 years, I was reading less just because I was doing more music and my career was transitioning into like my day job was transitioning into tattooing. So I was reading a bit less, but I've got back on the book train now, and I really enjoy it because it just creates like a more playful headspace for my mind with the writing and things like that. And yeah. I've really enjoyed picking up some more books lately.
Good. Anything in particular that stands out to you?
Let's see. I'm reading a book called Negative Space right now, and it's by a author that I'd never read before, B.R. Yeager, and they're on a publishing house called Apocalypse Party, I think is the publisher name.
Right.
Which was intriguing enough for me to check the book out. The cover of the book is actually really nice too, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like it'd be interesting." But like the synopsis was like, "Oh, it's like the psychedelic dream of like a mesh between like Beyond the Black Rainbow and like Drive." So I was like, "Well, this is intriguing." Okay,
Yeah. Right.
I like both of those things. So. But yeah, the book's kind of, it's a little bit based in the occult. There's like, it's kind of like about what teenagers do when there's no parents around, and like what kids do when they're supposed to be at home but they sneak out of the house and things like that. So
Right.
it's a neat book. It's pretty dark. There's mention of suicide and things in the book, so trigger warning for anyone that is sensitive to that material. But it's really interesting. I would like to read more from that author.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Those are good choices. I like going to the bookstore, though I don't read nearly as much as I used to. I have books. I have like a whole box of books of things that like I purchased over the past like 2 years that I'm like, I'm going to read this. Any day now that I'm just going to fling the lid off the top and just start reading. We're just waiting. I'm not sure for what, but it'll happen. But those are good
You can
answers.
start today. Just read 5 pages today, and then
Wow. That's a lot. And it's something I definitely need to get back into doing, because I feel like reading helps you organize your thoughts a little better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like I always feel like I can talk better after I've been reading for a little bit for a fair amount of time. Like I have more cohesion to my thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I believe that. Sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, I hope so. But all right. Well, so what are the next steps for you beyond the album? You said possibly coming out in like April or so. I know I'm gonna end up seeing you guys. You're playing Dark Force Fest.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
So that'll be cool. That's
Yeah.
in April, right?
Yeah, both bands will be at Dark Force Fest in New Jersey. I believe we're playing the Saturday, which is I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it is still in March because it's over that like March April weekend. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be super super fun and excited to play with. Like we haven't ever played with Health before, and I'd like to see them, so that'll be neat. And yeah, we're just really excited. That's sort of the first date back after the break from our tour in Europe and that. And yeah, and then we go back to Europe in June. We're going to be doing some dates in Spain and Portugal, and some makeup dates in Germany for the dates that we missed on the European part of the tour due to illness and that. So yeah, it'll be nice to go back there and yeah, see the people that we missed last time.
Yeah. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
2 European tours. That seems like a lot of work, but I know that in our conversations in the past, you've talked about how like you personally have made the effort to sort of pare down like your travel kit, so to speak.
Yes, yeah.
So it's probably not nearly as daunting of a task as it used to be, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we try to travel pretty light.
Mhm.
Yeah, like, everything is pretty much carry on. We can just gate check things, so it makes it easier for us. And then, we try and ship our merch and that sort of thing too. But with the way shipping things have been lately, it's difficult to get, your merch places on time.
Mhm.
The whole kind of shipping logistics thing is another ball of yarn. But
Yeah, here, let me take a thing that's very valuable to me and put it out
yeah,
of my possession for
yeah,
for X amount of
yeah.
time and hope it arrives where it should,
I
and
know.
not
Yeah. I
destroyed.
mean, yeah, we do our best to, plan for these delays and that. But the delays on the last US tour and the European tour with the merch was really frustrating.
Mhm.
Yeah, things just didn't arrive where they needed to be, but we
Yeah.
made the best of it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Dark Force Fest. I'm excited. I will be there.
Awesome.
Rose and I are gonna go, and
Very cool.
yeah,
Have you been to that festival before?
no, I've never been to New Jersey, so this is
Oh, nice. Okay,
a whole
cool.
new experience.
Yeah,
Um, but I've seen Health a couple of times, and you guys are definitely in for a treat.
cool. Yeah,
Wonderful show.
awesome.
And the lineup for this whole festival is amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
It was so cool to see, like, industrial mainstays of like Health, Morris Black, Rabbit Junk, things like that, Suicide Commando, mixed in with
Hmm.
like actors in boot blacks and leathers. I was like,
Yeah,
it makes me happy to see that sort of cross pollination, I guess.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I agree. It's nice to, yeah, to have the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? The more like genre specific things kind of
Mhm.
mixed with the crossover stuff. I think that's really cool. That's
Yeah,
nice.
for sure.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to this festival before?
I have not. No.
Gotcha.
I have been to New Jersey before, but
Gotcha. Okay. Well, real quick, while we're on the topic, while it's relevant, first
yeah.
impressions of New Jersey. What do you think? Go.
Um, hmm. Let me think. It's like, have you seen the movie Garden State?
Yes.
It's like Garden
Okay.
State.
All right. That's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
I'd say that's an accurate depiction. But it's like in the urban areas, it's like it's a little gritty, but you get out into the more suburban areas and it's like I don't know, there's foresty. They call it the Garden State for a reason, I guess.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm excited now. Now that I know that that movie is somewhat based on reality, maybe
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a lot more excited about it. Uh,
Yeah.
well, so beyond the festival, I know you probably can't talk about any other festivals or major things like that you might have set up for the year, but what is the end of 2023 look like? I mean, you'll have the album out by then. You will have
Yeah.
toured all over the place. What's kind of your next step beyond that?
Yeah, well, once the Leathers record comes out, yeah, like you say, I think we'll do some shows, and
Mhm.
we're probably just gonna do. I don't think we'll do like a big US tour, but I think we'll do some kind of specific dates that makes sense for the growth of the band and things like that. And then
Mhm.
once we get back from our dates in Europe with actors comes home, and then we work on the new actors record. So yeah, it'll the wheel will keep turning. We'll have lots of new content. I guess coming up in February too, we're going to be shooting a video for Leathers. So
Mhm.
we've had like a little bit of false starts, like trying to get a video just with pandemic stuff and scheduling and all these things. So we're finally going to get to do a video for an upcoming single in February. So that'll be super fun. And we have the location we have is the Masonic Lodge in Vancouver. So it's going to be super, super neat.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, very excited about that. And Wayne Morehart, who's been working with us on the actors video, he'll be he'll be directing that one too. So
nice.
Well, very excited.
Very. Well, aside from leather stuff and all the like kind of personal growth that you've been going through lately, what's I don't know, the year just ended. 2022 was quite a year. It felt like maybe 24 months long, perhaps. But,
Yeah.
What's something that happened last year that maybe you didn't expect, or have you had any sort of, looking back over the year, have you had anything that stood out to you as like, oh, I wish I'd done that differently, or anything like that?
Yeah, I wonder. Last year was strange. It kind of felt like it went by in a blink, but it also felt like a long time too. It was one of those kind of strange, like, being on tour, you kind of get like sucked into a bit of a black hole sometimes. And like when you're traveling like that every day, it's like the news doesn't really reach you, like the day-to-day kind of current events of things is sort of outside of what you're experiencing every day. And then you come home and it's sort of like alienating. Everything is the same, but it's also changed a lot. So just adjusting to things post tour, and then being sick was a bit strange. But let me think. I mean,
you don't have to have some like super deep answer. Like
no
pressure.
Yeah. I think something that was special about last year was, like actually bringing leathers to the live performance. Was something that I wanted to do all my life. I wanted a different band, but I just didn't have the material to do it, and the right resources and the right support. And but yeah, to be able to do that last year was really amazing, and to like kind of to find my feet, fronting a band and performing on stage like that was like such a cool experience, and I can't wait to do more.
How do you feel about how it went?
Good. Yeah. I think, the first shows you're kind of like, we're just sort of settling into like playing the songs, because we had never played those songs live at all. So to settle into that and to just kind of find the flow with that was really cool. And then, by the end of that, we did I think it was 10 dates on that tour with actors, where we performed with both bands. By the end of it, it was feeling really good. We're like, wow. It was like, yeah, it's heading in the direction that we wanted it to be. And we're just really excited to share the new songs too.
Yeah. I would imagine that it was, you had the benefit of being on stage with actors. So it was like, you kind of had training wheels, I guess. A little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Prior to joining actors, I really didn't have any performance experience. So it was definitely like my front woman boot camp.
Yeah.
I had these opportunities, and, to practice singing on stage as like backing vocals, to gain confidence with my singing, and to, just being on stage and in front of people, it was also valuable in kind of creating this like supportive atmosphere where I could take that next step and be a front person.
You live in a high rise, no birds or butterflies, live beyond your means like you always dreamed, in a room painted gallery white. Isn't it nice, this 21st century life, cool as concrete, naked on the balcony, sleepless in the pale moonlight.
I would imagine that it was, I mean, it must have been a little bit of a shift to go from like, because I mean, with actors, it's like you're like you said, you're there, you're on the stage and everything. But I mean, you know, most people are looking at Jason because he's so dreamy or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
So suddenly, you know, to be the front person and be like, all eyes are on me while I'm doing this
Yeah.
thing. I mean,
Yeah, it's different. It's super cool, but yeah, it's very different. Yeah, to have that, it's like obviously a little bit more pressure, but I don't know. I guess because I kind of got my nerves out about it in actors, like by the time it came, you know, and it was over, you know, a few years of like writing the songs for Leathers and then performing more with actors and doing all the touring and, you know, just having all this experience, like the cumulative effect of it was when it finally happened. I was like, oh, I can't wait to do this, rather than like being so nervous that I couldn't like imagine doing it, you know?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It like the pace of it was perfect, and that like when it came time to do it, I felt pretty ready. It wasn't like overwhelming to the point of like stage fright or
Yeah.
like feeling sick before we played or anything like that.
Sure.
It felt like it was the right time.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like the ideal situation for, you know, sort of transitioning into like, I'm doing a thing. And
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, aside from Leathers and all of that stuff, what's something that you've been enjoying lately? Just something in your personal life, like movie, TV series, book, whatever.
Yeah. Jason and I just watched Copenhagen Cowboy. Which-
You were like the second person to say that to me, and I'm like, man, I have to check this out.
Oh yeah, it's so cool. So Nicholas Winding Refn, who is the director of Drive and Only God Forgives, and various other movies, of course, he put out a new series on Netflix, which is called Copenhagen Cowboy. And yeah, we just watched that, and we're both huge fans of his, you know, cinematic work. It's just the confluence of like the aesthetic, the storytelling, like the pacing, the like, yeah, just the whole atmosphere. It's like it's just it's a journey. It's a ride to go on when you watch his filmmaking. So yeah, we were really excited to watch that. It's full of like weirdness and candy colors, and there's like kung fu and
Sweet.
all sorts of things. There's like witchcraft and vampires. Yeah, it's something. It's amazing.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. I will have to check it out.
Yeah, I hope there's a second season. There is talk of it happening, so I'm hoping that enough people get into it that they can make it happen.
Nice. I will have to check that out. Morris Black had told me that he was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this and nothing else for a while because So
I would like to watch it again because there's certain things that they let on during the course of the season that you're like, oh, I bet they hinted to that somewhere else, but I wasn't like paying attention in the right ways, or I didn't quite notice it. So I would like to watch it again with the kind of knowledge of what happens, to see like where they tried to kind of play with the narrative and like concealing certain things and showing us others.
Oh, I love that shit. Like
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Yeah.
I've been on some kind of weird, and you know, just to kind of answer the question myself, I've been on some kind of weird retiree kick. I don't know what's going on, where I like, I like have been getting up early and like making my coffee, and then I'm like, for some reason I just was like on Netflix, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch World War II in color because fucking I guess. I watched that, and it was like it's good. I mean, I can recommend it. It's, you know, it's like other history documentaries, but this one sort of talks about things that are usually kind of glossed over, or things that maybe you don't usually see in documentary series, which is
Okay, yeah.
it'll talk about American and British atrocities, calls out Coco Chanel for being a Nazi conspirator.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
But it was pleasant to watch. But I mean, the World War II documentaries are not for everybody. It's a lot of like screaming and people blowing up and shit.
Yes, this
but
is true.
but but I followed that smash hit up with All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, yes. Okay, yeah.
On Netflix, which is, I mean, it's really good. It's film. I mean, it's like watching an A24 horror film. Like there's this atmospheric unease of like, man, this shit sucks, and like it's really incredible, really strong to watch. And then, you know, mixed in with all that shit, I was listening to like Hardcore History podcast, which is like also super grim. And then I was like, I'm going to rewatch Chernobyl, which is also amazing.
Great series. Yeah.
It's amazing, but I don't
Bleak
know.
as hell.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been in some sort of like, oh, all of humanity sucks kind of mode for a while now. So,
well, I've got something for you. Have you seen Come and See?
Come and See. No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
What I will look it up.
It's the greatest war movie ever made.
Okay.
It's like I'm sorry, I can't remember the director right now, but it's Tarkovsky like.
Okay.
It's like very it's slow. It's like, you know, the scenes are like photographs. Yeah,
Okay.
It's stunning and it's heartbreaking, and definitely check it out.
Okay.
I think it's on the Criterion Collection if you subscribe to that at all.
Okay. I will check it out. I mean, I don't mean to brag. I did sit through Das Boot once. So
yeah.
I mean, but I didn't mean like that movie is amazing, but I mean, once is enough. Like after watching, I mean, like, and the director's cut is like, I don't even know, 18 hours. Who knows? It's forever.
Yeah.
But afterward, you're like, oh, I've been through this as well.
Yeah, it's a whole experience for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check out Come and See. It's amazing.
Okay.
On the more like punishing supernatural front, have you seen Possession?
Possession, the Cronenberg movie?
No, it's I think that's Possessor.
Possessor. Yes.
Yeah. Possession is
Sam
19.
Neill?
Yes, with Sam Neill. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I have seen that. Also, I mean, like, not so. Also, a bit squeamishy, like Possessor is. But so,
yes.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. But I'm really excited for the new. I think it's Brandon Cronenberg is his son's name, but his new film with Mia Goth, and it's called Infinity Pool.
Okay.
Oh, it looks wonderful.
Neat. I like the name already.
Yeah, and Mia Goth was so good in. Have you guys seen X and Pearl?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Incredible films.
We just watched. Have you seen Tarkovsky's Mirror?
No,
as well. Not. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's amazing.
Okay.
It's about like a man who's on his deathbed, who's a poet, but he's just kind of like revisiting his life and like where he comes from and the relationship that his parents had, and how like moving through life is just kind of, it's like a reflection of what has happened before. It's it's incredible.
Okay. I'm gonna have to
very deep moving film. The first time we watched it, we were like, when it finished, Jay and I were like, okay. And then we both like, we were talking the next day and we're like, okay, wow, we have a lot to like talk about with this movie, because it just kind of like simmered in our minds like overnight. And then when we watched it again, we were like, holy crap.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like the films where you're like, I don't know, you feel a little like shell shocked and you have to sleep on it and then kind of figure out if you like it with someone else.
I realized I barely slept the night after because I was just like thinking about like all the relationships between the people in the movie and like who was like an avatar for like a certain person at a certain point in time, because they use some of the same actors in different time periods. So there's like a whole, like a weird kind of like time morphing thing going. Yeah. So
kind of cloud atlasy
yeah,
things in that
yeah,
movie,
yeah,
which
yeah,
I did like that film quite a bit
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
There's a film on Shudder you guys should watch called Speak No Evil. It's another one of those movies of like, I'm gonna watch this with a person, and then we're just gonna sit and like geek out about it for an hour and be like, what the fuck? Because
Yeah.
it is a just go into it as blind as you can, like, and just sort of it's an experience.
Cool.
So I don't want to say too much, but it's just sort of it. Yeah, basically just like a couple meets another couple on holiday, and they decide to go visit these people, and then shit goes wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
Like it really plays with a lot of social constructs and a lot of like colloquialisms, and like, you know, plays with the idea of like what's acceptable, where do we draw lines as far as things go. It's really smart.
I think I've seen the title card on the streaming services, but yeah, I don't think we've checked that one out yet. So I'm gonna put it on the list.
Sweet. Okay. Well, aside from movies that you've been watching, I know you've still been doing kind of like, you know, tattoo work here and there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, I'm back. Since I've been back home from tour, I've been tattooing, and that, you know, we've been in the studio a lot too. So I just tattoo a few days a week. But yeah, it's something that it's been amazing. I have the best clients. They're just so wonderful. They're collaborative, and you know, we get to make some really cool tattoos. I did the first leathers tattoo last week.
Wow.
Someone wanted "Let's Run Away" in script.
Wow. I mean, that's kind of like the ultimate. It's kind of like the ultimate fan experience of like, hey, this band is also gonna tattoo you forever.
Yeah, yeah, it was so cool. And he was he's retired now, but he was a linguistics professor at various universities in the US and Canada. So he was talking about how like "run away" is normally two separate words, but like he liked the way that I put the two words together. So he had like this whole linguistics like background as to why he wanted the tattoo as well. So I thought that was really neat.
Oh no, that's awesome. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about somebody sort of bringing their own color to a thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. How like heartwarming. I mean, like you must be on like cloud nine that people want such a thing from you.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's incredible. I would have never dreamed that, you know, a song that Jay and I wrote together would, you know, inspire someone to get a tattoo. Like that's just it's a high honor for sure.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And tattooing too, like, you know, there's just so much trust that is involved. And it's I feel it's a great responsibility to tattoo people and to be a tattooer, because there is so much trust and that involved, and it is really wonderful.
Yeah. I'm glad that you stuck with it and continue to do it. I mean, it seems like a thing that like brings you joy. Like when you post pictures about it, you seem excited.
Yeah. It is so much fun. It's like it's a cross section of things that is really interesting to me. I mean, you know, there's the design element, but then there's also the technical elements of tattooing, and then you know, you're working with people, which is always, you know, really interesting. Like I've aside from like doing cool tattoos, like just, you know, the people I've tattooed have had interesting stories. And I posted on Twitter the other day actually that I had tattooed an ER nurse, and she got her ribs tattooed. She got a Tyrannosaurus Rex on her ribs because her and her sister were fans of Jurassic Park.
Hmm.
So I did this large dinosaur tattoo for her, but she had a very difficult time sitting through the tattoo because the ribs are just a notoriously awful place to be tattooed.
Hmm.
And she said that, well, she got the line work done, and then I was like, I don't, I was thinking to myself, I don't know if she's going to come back to get the color and the shading
Oh, yeah.
because she had such a, a difficult time getting the line work finished. So, but she did come back and get it finished. And she said to me that, after having been through that experience, it made her more empathetic to her patient's pain.
Hmm.
And that like it actually helped her as a person with her work and as a nurse. So I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, I've tattooed all sorts of different people, police officers, sex workers, like
Yeah.
just all walks of life. It's been really fascinating.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, like, I've never been tattooed on my ribs, but I mean, like, yeah, I can appreciate, like, if the line work hurts, like, because I mean, I got a big cover up of my first tattoo I ever got. I was 18. I walked in, I picked something off the wall, and then, the guy who, and not only did I pick some rando shit off the wall, but the guy doing it like fucked it up, like it was not good. But getting the cover up, which was like $550, like, and it was a huge cover up, like it was on my calf, and a lot of that was like, this isn't so bad until you start like kind of tattooing around the curve of muscles and things, and then it's ooh, this is not great. So after getting my line work done, like, shaders are big and like coloring, so like that shit hurt, like it was miserable. So
it's so different for like it's so subjective too. Like some people find the line work worse and some people find the shading like more kind of numbing and more like comfortable.
yeah.
It's such it completely depends on the area you're being tattooed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I got tattooed on the back of my neck and it was like nothing. It was like so easy.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're still doing that. One last question that I have for you, before we wrap all this up, just to sort of, I don't know, I asked you kind of about the future, and we know that you've got like a lot of exciting things coming up, and you've had a really productive year. Where was Shannon Hemmett 5 years ago?
5 years ago. I guess that was about the time that I joined Actors.
Okay.
I was like terrified of my own singing voice. I was like very inexperienced being on stage. And, when I would play keyboard on stage, my hands would be shaking.
Right.
I was just learning to tattoo. I had left my job I worked at a design agency for a very long time, and I just left my job, and I was pretty like scared of what was next. I was just learning to tattoo. So I knew that was something I wanted to do next, but like, I didn't know like how that was going to evolve for me. So yeah, there was like, it was kind of a pivotal time. It was uncertain. And, there was definitely some uncertainty, but it was also really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
all the things happened in the last 5 years.
It's been a pretty, I had to stop for a second after I asked the question and realized that 5 years ago was like 2017. Or 2017, 2018 right there. Like, that feels like forever ago.
I know. Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
Well, you have come so far in a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's weird looking back. You realize like, whoa, yeah, a lot has happened in 5 years.
Yeah, a significant amount.
Yeah.
It was so good to talk to you again. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. And, Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. You too.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course, yeah, thank you.
I will check out these movies and the show.
Yeah,
like, for sure.
yeah, yeah. We'll have to report back to. I'll let you know when we see Speak No Evil.
Yes, please do. I want to hear the reaction. I want to see it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will go ahead and let you go. Thank you again so much for your time. And
Yeah, awesome. Thank
I
you.
will. I'll let you know when this goes up, and I look forward to seeing you guys in New Jersey in March.
Yeah, we'll see you then. Yeah, and have a great weekend. Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Talk to you soon. You too. Bye.
Bye.